that for a country to function properly, it has to engage in business. Basically, business is part of life. And as a country, we buy and sell, we import and export. The question is, how much are we importing and how much are we exporting, and what is the impact of all this? Well, I'm joined right now by Dr. Wilfred Marube, who's the CEO of Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency. So thank you very much for joining us. We start with the numbers we looked earlier before we crossed over to Senate. We've seen an increase in export and a drop in imports in the year 2020. What caused that?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I would want to state that on a broad sense, the export performance for the year 2020 was an indication that the country performed well despite all the gloom demonstrated within the COVID period. We were able to have total exports in 2020 of 642 billion shillings compared to 595 billion in the previous year, which was 2019. This represents a growth of 7.8% in terms of exports. But on the other side also, we saw a decline in imports from about 1.8 trillion shillings to about 1.6 trillion shillings, whereby the balance of trade basically improved by about 200 billion shillings. So all this is an indication that export trade and the export sector is a key contributor to the economy. And this particular growth in exports, the 7.8 growth in exports, can be apportioned to growth in particular products which performed quite well. We had tea, which occupied about 19% of this particular growth. Bearing in mind that during the COVID period, there was an increased uptake of Kenyan tea, which is known for its aroma and also color. Bearing in mind that there were many people who were indoors, that means that within our traditional tea export markets, that is like the UK, there was more uptake of Kenyan tea. Then we saw the growth in the horticulture sector, and that is within the food industry, whereby Kenya has a comparative advantage in that that our crops basically grow throughout the entire season, and the logistics in terms of connectivity to our key markets, especially in the UK, and with partnerships like KQ, which opened up its freighter services, ensured that the products were able to reach the destinations market within the right time. Okay. And then, of course, you have the petroleum exports, especially within the East and Central African region. Then, of course, the apparel and clothing and accessories, which were dominant to the US market, and of course, our Kenyan coffee. So those five were the key drivers to the growth of exports. But despite that, again, I would want to also indicate that this particular period also saw increased performance in some key markets, export markets, all of them traditional Kenyan markets, whereby the lead we had Uganda, with about 11% of the market share within the period, then followed by Pakistan, UK, USA, and Netherlands, because of the horticulture and the flower sector. So broadly speaking, we could say that within this period, it's the agri-based export products that basically drove up the exports within this particular sector.
And Dr. Marube, that is the discussion that we've had for the longest time as a country. In regards to our exports, it's very agri-based. The question is, have we seen an improvement in regards to value addition so that we may source more from these exports, agricultural products? That is one. And has there been also an element of diversification so that we also broaden from agri-based exports?
That's a very good question, and it's in line with our national integrated national export strategy, and also in line with the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Strategy. Our second strategy in terms of orientation as an organization is to diversify not just our products, but even our markets. So as we speak right now, the conversation is on value addition. How do you add value so that we maximize, so that we end up exporting the finished products? For instance, if we look at tea, how much value do we add to the cheese, to the bulk tea that we're exporting, either in terms of packaging, in terms of coming up with a specialty teas and branding, so that we're able to basically able to reach the end retail, the end market or the retail market. So this is something that within the sector there are conversations taking place, and we are happy even within government, within the Big Four agenda, manufacturing is key, and basically that's what we are indicating, that for us to be able to engage more, to be able to drive more value from our agri-based products and get new markets, we've got to move into value addition. And we've increasingly seen those conversations and already emerging even within the micro, small and medium enterprises within our product development program. This is an area we are working to support enterprises, especially the small and medium, to be able to add value to their products, because it's through value addition that you can be able to not only just fetch more money from those particular products, but also able to access other markets and also get more money for the farmer or for the exporter by eliminating the middleman. Okay. So it's something that is part of our strategy. Mm-hmm. It's a conversation we are having within the export sector, and it's something that we've seen Kenyan entrepreneurs increasingly adding value. But again, in terms of an opportunity, this is an area for investments within the agricultural value chain so that we're able to have finished products. Already we've seen some counties, for instance, in Nyandarua County, take up the initiative of establishing a potato processing factory. That's part of the value addition we're talking about. And we have increasingly seen enterprises and also counties basically invest in this area. And I think that is, once that is done, then we have a huge potential of actually increasing our exports, not just our export products, but also getting access to non-traditional markets because of the products that you are likely to produce.
Definitely, and even right now, as we have this discussion in Senate, there is the Division of Revenue Bill. Seeing senators have been pushing to see more money trickle down to the county level. You've mentioned that in terms of the devolved system setup. You've mentioned a couple of counties that are making effort actually to invest in value addition. Is there a structure or a lead, a guide regards to spreading this across the 47 counties to see that every product that is coming from all these spaces, there is an element of value addition to it?
I do agree that these are conversations that has been initiated, and increasingly being aware that this is a multi-sectoral approach, not just from the export sector like where you operate, it's also from other ministries. So, like for us as an agency, I would wish to speak to the area in which we're in control of, and that is the product development program. In this particular program, we identify enterprises, even within counties, and then we engage them. Like for instance, this particular period, we've engaged enterprises in Mombasa County, Eldoret County, Kisumu County, and one reason why we do that is to identify enterprises or individuals who have products that could be developed further to become export ready, in terms of identifying what value can be added to them, which market requirements do they need to satisfy for them to be able to get market access. And after we've done that, then we seek partners, and we are open to seeking partnership. And as an agency, we've made that very deliberate. And that is why we've engaged willing and counties that are able to work with us. It's a journey. So it's something that we have rolled out as a program as an agency. Number one, to let the enterprises, which are basically based within counties, realize that there is potential in value addition, realize that some of the products that they have export potential, and most importantly, take them through the due process so that at the end of the day, the products are ready to be packaged and basically to be promoted within the destination markets. So it's a journey we're taking. And we believe with the kind of interest you have seen generated is going to take place. And we believe that in this particular year, when we participate in the Dubai Expo 2020, we do believe that the counties will have an opportunity to basically showcase individual or unique products that they can be able to drive an export agenda within each county. Perhaps the challenge would be is to challenge a particular counties to identify which particular export products that is uniquely they can be able to drive with the support of organization so that they're able to make an impact in not just about accessing the external markets, but also putting money into the pockets of people who need it most. And those are the small and medium enterprises within the counties.
Very important actually. You say there should be, it is multi-sectoral approach to make sure that this is, happening. But you've mentioned, diversifying the market as we close up briefly. The issue of intra-Africa trade, we understand, is very low. Uganda is our biggest market, according to the statistics, but is there an effort even within the Africa Continental Free Trade Area for Kenya to expand its market within the continent of Africa? Briefly.
Okay, thank you for that good question. I may not be in a position to really articulate because that's a policy issue, but I am aware, for instance, that the Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, we are part of the multi-sectoral technical team that is developing the Kenyan strategy for the African Confederation Free Trade Area. It's something that we're working on because we realize the potential of growing the export market, the export potential of Kenya within this particular region. The market is huge, the potential is high. Of course, we are aware that there are some technical barriers, especially logistical challenges in terms of accessing these markets. And I do believe that's why this national strategy, which I may not be able to talk at this moment until it's officially launched by the appropriate authorities, would be able to give us a roadmap. Okay. But I could confidently say that from where I sit and from where I'm aware that the team is looking at the document, it's a document that will be able to give us a right roadmap. All right. And of course, we are aware that African markets actually is the future market for exports, so to speak, from our agency.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Wilfred Marube, CEO, Kenya Export Promotion and Branding Agency, in regards to our balance of trade. Right now, Business Today takes a short break. We'll return with more.